Good day, great day, and grand day to you all. Welcome back on another segment of Dr. TSA series, a spiritual discussion. Stay tuned for today's topic. Navigating a spiritual crisis, or also known as the dark night of the soul. Spiritual crisis or spiritual crises, often referred to as the dark night of the soul, can be one of the most disorienting experiences in life. It's that phase where everything once meaningful seems to have slipped through your fingers, leaving you standing in a fog of confusion, emptiness, and a profound sense of disconnection. For many, it feels like hitting rock bottom, but these moments of spiritual unrest are not signs of failure. These moments are invitations to evolve, to deepen your understanding of self, and to discover a path that may have been hidden in the light of your former reality. So I want to welcome you to a journey that might not be easy, but is ultimately transformative. Let's explore how you can navigate this period of intense inner struggle and come out on the other side, not only healed, but empowered. So what is understanding the dark night of the soul? This term, the dark night of the soul, originates from the writings of the Spanish mystic Saint John of the Cross, who described it as a phase of profound spiritual desolation, doubt, and abandonment. It's a period when the familiar spiritual practices or beliefs that once gave you comfort no longer resonates. For some, it manifests as a loss of faith, while for others, it's a deep existential crisis where the very foundations of life feel meaningless. But here's the key. A spiritual crisis is not a punishment or the universe turning its back on you. It's a process of purification, a clearing of the old, limited ways of thinking to make room for a deeper, more authentic connection to the divine and to your higher self. It's about stepping into a higher vibration. But before that can happen, everything that no longer serves your evolution must be dismantled. The symptoms of a spiritual crisis can include the following. These are the signs of a spiritual crisis that can vary from person to person, but the common indicators are: 1. A deep sense of disconnection, whether from people or your spiritual path or even life itself. You feel like you no longer are in alignment with anything. Another symptom would be a sense of loneliness or emptiness. You might feel abandoned, both by others and by the universe. This can manifest as a pervasive sense of loneliness, even in the company of the ones you love. A third symptom will include questioning your beliefs. The beliefs and practices that once felt like solid ground now seem hollow. And so you question everything you once held dear to your heart. from religious doctrines to personal truths. The next one, you feel an emotional turmoil. Anger, sadness, frustration, and or despair might overwhelm you at times, making it hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel. These are the symptoms of a spiritual crisis. But the ego plays a part in this spiritual crisis. And so its role at the core of this dark night is to confuse you. At the core of the dark night is the death of the ego. The ego is that part of you that is attached to your identity, material success, external validation, and control. When the ego begins to lose its grip on you, it can feel like the very fabric of your life is unraveling. The attachments to who you thought you were begin to dissolve, and in this dissolution, you face the unknown. The ego hates uncertainty because it thrives on control and predictability. So during a spiritual crisis, there's often a resistance to this progress. However, the ego's grip loosening is necessary for you to connect more deeply with your true self, that part of you that is beyond the titles, that part of you that is beyond the possessions or those social roles. This process is not about annihilating the ego, but rather integrating it so that it serves your higher purpose rather than running your show. So embrace the discomfort, because growth happens in the void. When you're growing through a spiritual crisis, the natural process is to often to try to resist. We crave certainty and we want to hold on to the known. But growth, especially spiritual growth, happens in the void, in the space where the old has fallen away, but the new hasn't yet emerged. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's even painful at times, but necessary. So some ways to navigate the discomfort and use it as a vehicle of transformation is to surrender to the process. Resisting the spiritual crisis only intensifies the struggle. Surrender to it. Surrender to the experience, trusting that it is happening for your highest good. When you stop resisting, you allow the universe to guide you through the process, revealing insights and the lessons that would otherwise be obscured. Another way to navigate the discomfort is to seek solitude, but not isolation. During this dark night or this spiritual crisis, it's common to withdraw from social situations, and that's okay. Solitude can help you go inward and reflect on what's happening. However, be mindful not to completely isolate yourself. Keep in touch with people who understand what you are going through or who can hold that space for you without judgment. Seek your teachers of spiritual growth. Seek your mentors of spiritual growth. Seek those who are understanding purely what you are going through. Additionally, stay present with your emotions. It can be so tempting to numb the uncomfortable emotions that arise during this time. But allowing yourself to feel them is essential for healing, as uncomfortable as they may be. Allowing yourself to feel is essential to your healing, because your feelings are connected to your spirit. They are messages, and so by fully feeling them, you honor their presence. Journaling and meditating, or simply sitting with your feelings without trying to fix them, can help you process what's coming up for you. Another practice that you can consider is reconnecting with nature. Nature has a way of grounding and healing us, especially when you're feeling disconnected. Take time to be in nature, whether it's walking in the park, hiking in the mountains, or simply sitting in a body of water. The rhythms of nature remind us that life moves in cycles. There's death, there's rebirth, and renewing. So reevaluate your spiritual practices. Sometimes a spiritual crisis occurs because the practices you've once followed are no longer serving your growth. This is a time to reevaluate and possibly let go of outdated spiritual routines. You might find that meditation, breath work, or a different form of connection to the divine resonates with you now. Finding meaning and purpose, once one of the greatest gifts of a spiritual crisis, is the opportunity to redefine your life's meaning and purpose. When you move through the dark night and emerge on the other side, you may find that your priorities have shifted. What once seemed important may no longer matter, and new passions or callings might arise. This is the rebirth that follows the ego's death. The person who emerges from the spiritual crisis is often more aligned with their true self, more compassionate, and more connected to something larger than themselves. Here are ways to finding meaning during or after a spiritual crisis. Follow your inner guidance. Instead of looking for external validation, turn inward and listen to your intuition. Spiritual crises often strip away the noise of the outside world so that you can reconnect to your inner voice. Pay attention to what excites you and what brings you peace and what feels true to you now. Embrace new possibilities. A spiritual crisis often clears the slate, making way for new possibilities. It might be a new career path, or a new form of service, or deeper commitment to self-care. But be open to what the universe presents to you. Serving others, which is one of the most powerful ways to find meaning, is through serving others, whether it's through volunteering, mentoring, or simply being there for someone who is struggling. Service shifts the focus from self to others and allows you to contribute in a positive way. It allows you to contribute positively to the world. But do so when your cup is full and not when your cup is empty. Embracing that light after dark is so crucial and imperative to your meaningful life. That dark night of the soul is only a temporary state, even though it may feel like it will last forever. When you're in the thick of it, it's a journey and not a destination. And on the other side, there is light. The person who emerges from this experience will be stronger, wiser, and more connected to the true sense of self, to your purpose. If you're navigating a spiritual crisis, remember that you're not alone. Many have walked this path before, and many will walk it after you. It's a sacred journey, one that offers the potential for profound growth and transformation. As difficult as it may seem now, trust that this darkness will eventually give way to a more expansive understanding of yourself and the world. And so finally, in times of spiritual crisis, the universe is not abandoning you. It's calling you to a deeper, to explore the unknown parts of yourself. It's calling you to go deeper and deeper and to rise from the ashes like the phoenix. The dark night of the soul is not the end, but it's the beginning of a more authentic and meaningful existence. Embrace the journey, for it is in the shadows that we often find our greatest light. Thank you for listening. Remember that you are loved. Namaste. Mwah.
And there you have it on another segment of Dr. TSA series, A Spiritual Discussion. Remember to click that subscribe button, like the video, and contact me if you wish. Thank you again for watching, and remember that you're loved. Mwah! Namaste. Bye.